When he asked Dessalines, but how will I repay you? He says, every time you free people out of slavery, I am repaid.
The leading hero of Venezuela, Simón Bolívar, of course, received direct assistance from the Haitian revolutionaries. And of course, once again, this illustrates the debt we owe to Haiti, because part of the bargain was that the South American revolutionaries would move to abolish slavery. Sometimes that promise was kept, sometimes that promise was not kept, but that was the bargain that the Haitians tried to strike.
Years immediately after the revolution start to scare the white world, and they don't know what to do with Haiti. Because they're like, if this infection spreads and it's proven that, you know, black people might actually be capable of government, what happens to all of the other former slave colonies in which blacks are the majority? What happens in Brazil? What happens in Jamaica and elsewhere? So it was a decision was made by most governments, like America, for example, not to recognize Haiti until they eventually abolished slavery themselves.
So 60 years, Haiti was not allowed to have a merchant marine to trade. And if you're a nation and you can't trade, you are impoverished.
During the aftermath of the Haitian Revolution after 1804, there was a lot of sabotage by the mulatto class, because the only thing that's worse than a white supremacist is a wannabe white supremacist. And the wannabe white supremacists are the worst because they're fighting for something that they really can't be. So they'll sabotage anything for a fantasy, and that's what they did after the Haitian Revolution.
It's obvious that the Catholic Church and the French conspired to kill Dessalines with probably the help of the Americans and the British. And so Dessalines was assassinated. He went to meet someone. No one knew who this was. They cut his body up, I was told, into 13 or 14 pieces and scattered around the island. But that's where the women come in. Again, his wife Felicite, Cecilia, and other women got together and gathered up all those pieces, put that body back together in the manner that it was done to Osiris in the myth in ancient Kemet, and they buried him.
Napoleon was so powerful that he intended to take over the 13 states. He sent 2 units, one to the Louisiana Territory and one to Haiti. His intention was to attack the United States and take over. But because he had to use the units he had put into Louisiana to Haiti, when Haiti became independent, remember that trade had stopped because of the Haitian Revolution.
Then Christophe took over the northern part of Haiti, while Pétion took over the southern part of Haiti. Pétion set up a sort of a republic. Christophe made himself king, or was elected king, over the northern area. It is Christophe that built this extraordinary citadel, the largest such edifice in the Western Hemisphere. No one has done anything like this.
But if you look at the citadel in Haiti, or Sanssouci, or any of the other military governmental fortifications built in the time, and you imagine this as a society run and governed by people who were slaves into the middle of their adult life.
A citadel, a huge structure, the largest structure in the Americas, ready to house over 20,000 people. This is conceived by Dessalines and executed by Henry Christophe, who became king down the road. He built it in 11 years. No help from the World Bank, no FMI, no Friends of Haiti, nobody. Self-resources from A to Z.
It's this big castle that's built on one of the highest mountains in Haiti, armed forces, cannons that are aimed at the ocean. And the idea of this was, we're not sure if the French is coming back. So we have to make sure that we know the waters, we know how they're coming, we know where they're gonna come from.
Haiti was making her own money. We made our own under Christophe. We made our own gold and silver coins. Better yet, we did it so well. Colombia, Venezuela, several other countries in South America asked us to make their money for them. Yes, we were minting.
You know, you had a major rebellion down in Louisiana in 1811. That was shortly after thousands of enslaved Haitians had been brought to Louisiana, because many of the white Frenchmen who didn't go back to France, over 10,000 of them fled to New Orleans. And they took with them the enslaved Africans that they had control over. And many of those slave Africans then led what was the biggest rebellion in the history of the United States.
The white slave masters flee in Haiti, French ones. A lot of them go to French Louisiana, and they strengthen the slave regime in the South. They make slavery even more bedrock of Southern American culture. Remember, these are people who've seen what black revolution looks like in Haiti, and it was brutal. How are you going to get free of slavery without brutality? So they make the South of America a more concentratedly racist place.
Absolutely no one recognized Haiti's independence. That was number one. And though everybody was talking about freedom, liberty, democracy, everyone has the right to be happy. Oh, but not us.
I don't think they expected that the revolution would have had that kind of massive victory. And once it happened, the fear was, if we recognize, this was Thomas Jefferson who's in office at the time, if we recognize Haiti as a free republic, then what are we going to do about all of the enslaved Africans in North America? So we have to reject it and now go into an economic boycott of it, similar to what they did to Cuba in modern times.
That's their stuff, right? They have this either or. Either I'm going to be it, I can't be it if you're it. See, African thought says everybody can be it. But the European mindset is that I can only be it if you are not it.
What happened to Haiti, though, was the tax that the French put on it, the reparation tax. So that's sort of like, so, okay, we'll give you independence, but now this is going to cost you, right? So we'll give it to you, but we'll pull your economic freedom from you.
And there are all kinds of economic exploitations that have been put onto Haiti since the pigs from America were put into Haiti to overtake the Haitian pig farming. Foreign grain was imported into Haiti. Sweatshops have been set up. I mean, there are reams and reams of books for people who are bothered that can go out and read on why Haiti is in the condition that it's in today. And it's largely due, partly, to a local parasitic, greedy elite, but mostly due to foreign exploitation. Without that foreign exploitation, the elite would not be in the position to be able to do the things that they have been and currently are still doing in Haiti.
So this also put a big fear in America's heart that Haiti had the ability, right after that revolution, to send troops to South America to help free those South American nations from Spain. Then they were worried about the African-American nation here, especially when you had a large population of Africans in Florida that was still under the control of Spain. Florida was the biggest maroon community in the Western Hemisphere, but we don't refer to Florida as a maroon community because American history has falsely said that the people they were fighting were a group of Indians called Seminoles, and don't tell you that that word they corrupt to be Seminoles come from the Spanish word of Cimarron, which means runaways. And so these are the runaway Africans. And so when Andrew Jackson was sent down there after he did the Mexican-American War to fight these people, he sent a letter back to Congress, and in the letter he says, you sent me to fight Indians, but I've been fighting niggers from the day I got here. You know, and this is a letter that's still in the Library of Congress.
DuSable, this brother was the founder of Chicago, and he was a brother of Haitian descent. Brother spoke different languages, so he was the first person to understand the strategic location of Chicago and how that could be used, because in Chicago, he could speak so many different languages. He could deal with the Spanish in the West, he could deal with the French in the South, he could deal with the English on the East, he could deal with the Native Americans in the North. So that was a very strategic place, and he was the first person to go there and monetize that area. And what's interesting about DuSable, many people thought that he was a spy for Haiti, because many people were shook about what happened during the Haitian Revolution. An African slave population rising up and overthrowing their oppressor. That sent chills all through white society.
The Haitian leadership in the 1820s had to make a decision. Should they go into debt and possibly deform the revolutionary process for decades to come by paying the government of Paris for the alleged losses suffered by slave owners, or should they not make the payment and run the risk of being invaded and having all of the citizenry enslaved? Those were the stark choices faced by the leadership, and they chose the former. That's to say, to make this payment.
I think it's like 1825, Charles X sent the fleet to invade the islands and retake it. And the compromise was, you pay us 100 million francs, 150 million francs, which was reduced some years later to 93 million francs. And that's how that came about. And they said, you're paying us this for the land that you've taken from us, from the enslaved Africans who was working for us that you've taken from us, and the resources the land were producing for the French Republic. And so that's where that 150, which wasn't paid off until very recently, which kept the Haitian economy in a tither for the entire period of its history.
So we are a country that is being continually raped at every level, every time. If it's not an occupation, and anytime you see an occupation, you can be sure they do not occupy a country that has nothing.
I see a lot of similarities between Haiti and Detroit, because Detroit was the land of some of the most phenomenal movements of black people ever in the world. Marcus Garvey had a strong movement in Detroit. The Honorable Noble Drew Ali developed the strongest contingent and temple in Detroit. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a student of Marcus Garvey and Noble Drew Ali in Detroit. Malcolm X moved to Detroit to be close to Elijah Muhammad. And then, of course, you have the Motown sound. You have the voice of black people worldwide. And I think that what's happening in Detroit is very much like that. At all costs, Detroit must be purged of its power.
The Marines came in and they were responsible for the death of close to 4,000 to 5,000 Haitian citizens. And the occupation lasted something like 20 years. And when they came in, what they did was seize control of all of the finances, all of the banks, and all the wealth of Haiti. And the money, Haiti's monies from his bank and his wealth was brought to America and transferred down to banks in New York. That wealth had never been returned to Haiti.
The first time the Citadel is attacked is during the U.S. occupation of Haiti in 1915. The U.S. Army stood up every day for 90 days and shoot at it while there's nobody in it.
But even then, America was fully now vested and in control of the Haitian economy. And during that occupation of the American Marines, they rewrote the Haitian Constitution. Until then, part of Dessalines' Constitution was that no land could be sold or owned by any foreign persons. Land could only be owned by Haitians of blood.